nyimbo ndimeneyo koma artwork ndemo apara.
Nyimbo ayimvera magayo.
Nyimbo sadayimvera. Nyimbo ndimeneyo koma artwork yomwe apara. The song is not even but you see there's that dichotomy in like my statement here. If that label mentality enters Malawi, Zikanga, we've missed a chance where a lot of power could have been with the artists, but then we've just like willingly handed it to people because they are giving you money to make your career a little bit easier. He built the whole beat up as like I said, like mafuna pena like it's a current vibe chachi anati, and but he just went to work. He just started like putting my shaker, kamenega bass, doom, all of that stuff, and I can. Tinakumana soma artist story, like we take art more like so some of these things they've never had pressure. Guys, like, and in Darama, you know what I mean? I know a lot of people feel like that about like art and like music, you know. I'm a kind of, I say nyimbo hii uchuga, oh nyimbo hii diblo, you know, but it doesn't really work like that.
What's the life without friends? That's a life full of enemies. You stay repping my team. You deserve every single one of your flowers. Now your heart is too big. All the soul that your heart played. Then you run, but you let live. You deserve everything. You deserve everything. I pray you get every win. Iwe Ninginjelwanga. Azanta. Twnda sazafe. Iwe mfana uwasa. Amama. Twnda sazafe.
Antambira koma kaikira kuno kwino kuti nyimbo zimezi kuti akuimba ndo kumalawi kuno. So yeah, so lero fali cheze naye mutambira timve kwini kuti zimatheka bwanji kuti zimba chonchi and pali mafunso ambiri kuti tifuna timve kuchokera kwa iyeyo bena apangira zinthu zake. So I'll let him introduce himself. Yes, my brother. Sure.
So I go by the name Twnda.
Wow, Twnda.
Other people say Twnda.
Twnda.
Yeah, other people say Twnda.
It's even Roshupa kwambi Twnda because mundu awoti sakuzondwe Twnda amada Twnda kapena. Like say kumaleba TWND something like that.
Yeah, something like that. So imakabe confusion.
Okay.
Yeah, that's totally my fault, definitely.
All right. So your name is Twnda.
Yeah, my name is Twnda.
That's your government name. Yeah. Okay. Twnda who?
Twnda Band.
Twnda Band.
Yes.
Wow. All right. Let me go back to 2020. Also during the pandemic. I met DJ Smindros. Yeah. So I was say you should meet this other guy, man. Sound again, what I was like, yeah, I should meet this guy. Yeah. Then he was refurbishing the Vogue. The Vogue lounge. Yeah, sure. Doing renovations. Then what about like 2 days we made. Yeah. And also you made me listen to him sound. He was a Bogombi. And I was like blown. I was blown away. I was like, man, this is going to be a matter because then you come around.
Yeah, I was thinking for occupation.
Wow. Yeah. Now the sound, I don't know if you remember that.
No, I remember.
Nyimbo hizi man, nyimbo za bo. Fancy kazangu amba uzifira nyimbo hizi. You remember? And now later on, I think Singuka and Reggie and so after that.
I think we met again.
Uh-huh.
I think we were talking about the podcast just before you started to do this podcast.
Okay.
We were just having a discussion about something like that. It's a while ago.
It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a while.
It's been a while. Almost when you chintu kuti chifike kuti chamba no kuteka bobo pa Malawi. Yeah, so yeah, then kera kuna zasowa, then you're like, yeah, I heard you uli kunzuzu.
Yeah.
Then now music yako inamba no kumveka. Maka was nyimbo vinachuka kwambiri Ninginjelwanga or something like that. Yeah, sure. So since then, you've been all over. Almost nyimbo zako antopea kuzimvera, almost on the radio, on the streaming platforms. Tell us. Almost chukumaleni time jayo zakazukala zotani, how has your life changed?
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy. I can't even, I don't know if I can put it into words.
Put it into words, try.
That time, a lot has happened. Now I can say I'm really like fully doing a lot of music now.
Yeah.
I think time manager nikakaya kuti nimapanga music, but like I wasn't following up as like a full-time artist. But it's just been like we are recording or you're writing for this person or you're performing but it's a full-time. It's a full-time engagement. Wow. But so it's been hectic, but it's also been very very rewarding. Very grateful. Like I feel the music. People enjoy, like you're able to create my moments in there and to like makumbukira ngati zikwati, makumbukira like my birthdays, and it's just like a really cool thing to experience. It's just a cool thing to experience, and like I'm very grateful to be experiencing that. Mzuzu, I think we left 3 weeks ago, and we've just been recording an album. So we're recording an album and like we drop at Ayimbi Volume 1.
Ayimbi Volume 1.
Yeah. So that's coming, and we were able to, move Guru around to Ines Rose, like videographer Andrew, producer Logan. So we were able to go from Mzuzu, Lilongwe, Planta, Zomba, kena kukafika kumangoji basi, just creating music, which is just something very I couldn't imagine being able to do that at all.
Okay. So nyimbo zambi zimena vela so demini jayo. Muna so bali zina so mina sizina. And mina sana zimvereso. Yeah, because I think you know I'm very more. But David didn't very so nyimbo zina za.
Yeah.
And hono basa kuzizo wapi.
Yeah, I make music every day, man.
Okay.
I make music every day. Of course, because of ponies, but like so good in my car, the music in my car, we need to get.
Yeah.
Like for me, it's an important thing to do. I'm a bangira gym, music.
Yeah. So okay, then I follow you on WhatsApp too, and it was each and every morning remember, fresh out of bed.
Yeah.
Hey, I think another day for the creative. So that's how you like approach your day. That's
pretty much it, and like people remind me. So there was a minute at that point, people will be like,
yeah.
But like is everything okay? Designer Sanazuki, but I also be like designer Azuki.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's just something that like just helps to reinforce something. But then when I type that,
Man,
I have to get up and do what I need to do what I need to do.
That's nice. Then I should come up with something.
Yeah, a mantra. Mantras are nice. They're very important.
Mama wako ngochenda kwenye duvet. Yeah. Okay. So you've mentioned you're also a designer. I've seen your work.
Yeah.
Design bokombi.
Yeah. Thank you.
So you're a designer. You're also Ayimba.
Yeah.
So nyimbo zako kamapanga, when you want to like approach kupanga nyimbo, whatever. So you see music in colors too, In colors, in what
That's actually a very good question. That's a very good question. I sometimes see music as a story before, like a video before the song. And in fact, I've never released a song that I haven't seen as a video, even if a video hasn't come out.
Seriously?
I'm very interested in images and video, actually. In fact, my friends, I'm being my friend I tell you like kupanga my movie. If like I could ever make a movie, that would really make me very happy. But like a lot of the music I see it more than I hear it, and then like it has to match a vision, because like music is the same and like different. You know what I mean? Like so, it's like the vision of what you see. Is very important as well, because you can write a sad song. Everybody can write a sad song, but it has to be a specific song. It has to have a story. So like when you visualize it, I think you're able to like even find words to describe it better. And then you just see my color, because it's your vision. It's not something that is just like already there. I think that's what I can say.
When I visualize so can you describe your music?
I think we could say I try. I can't say what it's always like that, but I try to like make music about like an experience. It has to like, there has to be and it's not always that way. You know, I'll say good. How much we can just make a new when I'm enjoy, or like something like that. It doesn't always have to be like that. But then like because I use music as like a tool to also propagate ideas. Like it's like what you. It's a wonderful platform to just say what you think. So numa funa buri bakaling kan ina gamba munyimbo, and then kan it and dizi gamba munjilabe yoti. It's following the rules of music, which is me. So you're not supposed to like make deep music, but then it should also be boring. Then you're not also like you're not doing good by music. So it's my negative music. So it's that creating that balance, I think, is like what really pushes me to make music. That balance between something that's deep and also something that's commercially viable. It's not also deep, like it has a surface level meaning, so you can dig something deep. I think that's the continuous challenge that a musician has. Every day when you wake up, you have to find a way to make a song that balances. And try go and
talking of balance, I think you get this very oftenly. And international. So there is ambiri kakati muntu wina kumala kuna kupanga chintu china chake yoti which anthu ambiri mina sana chizoleko ambiri we say it's international. Kuma bende kuti sound yako tingana kuti mamveka international. Now how do you strike a balance? Sound is very international, so why you still you kumveka be kuti
Malawi. That's also that has been a challenge that we've been like talking about. I'm trying to address it even more. It's, I think Kwambiri, from like a very musical perspective, it's like the drum line. I think Malawians like a specific drum line rather than kudi to say kudi. It's like the language. I don't think it's about the language, because ukavaya muhudu mabeza ntakumvela migozi, mabeza ntakumvela Drake, you know, they listen to international music. Like Malawians are able to consume international music. I think it's just about making something that's familiar, and like drumline I think is something that's very important to the Malawian music here. Timafuna bega drumming like yo vina be jonchi yo indika rhythm again.
So your sound even figure it's breaking barriers, but you still have to maintain that Malawian feel. How do you manage to do that?
I think my philosophy on that, so I can answer the best way to do that would be probably language, the use of the Jijewa language. But then other than that, from me, when it comes to music personally, I don't think it's always important to there's this debate identity Malawi putting in music, but I'd argue like what is Malawi's identity, because even Malawi in itself has different identities. When you break down, when people are tribe within that identity or siana. So I think it's an unfair thing to say that somebody should create a Malawian identity when within Malawi so many my identity and to siana muri Christian people, muri Islamic people, kuria Tonga, kuria Rome. So which one would be a Malawian identity? When it comes to music, I think it's okay for other countries to lead in music. It's fine because it's the same as magari moto. Si dziko lina so matakubanga magari moto. Bas pale maigo ina samatubanga magari moto, but they're not trying to say kuti change ambo banga magari moto aji Malawi. You know what I mean? So I think it's one of the things that people usually use to beat artists with. Kuda mayazi nyimbo sili bo si aji Malawi, but yet people listen to international music. So like, you get what I mean?
Yeah.
If it would make sense if Amalawi na kaut city mafira nyimbo za kunja, city mafuna china chili chonse chopanga ni nyimbo za kunja, then I'd be like, cool. But then if somebody is bumping to Drake and then a musician is trying to sing like Drake, what are you expecting? Mesa muntu in muma vedas into these are things that you really like. You're really saying kudu uyu yamata, Kendrick Lamar amata. A Malawian artist will therefore try to emulate my artist amene afuna kisanga anthu mukunena kuti izizi so ndizabwino.
So ndinginake umwe imene mapangisa kuti mina nake we should like we should be stuck in our mediocrity. Kunena kuti umazwa artist pangabisa chimalawi. So we don't like yearn for umazwa tinganene kuti kupanga zinthu zakulite kwambiri because timafuna kuti tipange tingone tipange za chimalawi. We limit ourselves. Tikapanga zinthu zambiri. We don't kufuna kuti mwina tikapikisana nawo pa level enake because yakunjayo because we want to stay true kuti za chimalawi. Yet but zinthu zambiri mbiri zoti sitima ziuza za chimalawi. Sitima mwankaka wa chimalawi. Sitima yusa mafoni ya chimalawi. My toothpick ya chimalawi. But all of a sudden there's this expectation of artists kuti koma nyimbo zanu sizili bwino unless zili za chimalawi. Yet if you ask the person who's bwino tandione se kuti cha chimalawi ndi. So before I go to the positive side which I know kuti ndi zambiri. So mwina ndizopoira ziti mwina negative comment imeona mvapo za music yako. No, sino sanga kana makona. Koma waza ina yake.
I think you can umataku ngona magomenti ngati imene yo wapara.
I see that very often.
Those are the kind of comments that you probably like get as a musician.
In fact, how do you take that one?
The thing about like what anybody says is that once you hear it, then you have to make a decision to say, do I care about it or do I not care about it? What I can say is that in the moment, you can care about it. Kumangaduli muntodi umabanga zako, you cannot even remember in like 5 minutes. Why? Actually, today, I released an artwork for a song I'm doing with Shano Index. And there's actually 2 comments. The comment on top, there's a guy who's saying, all credit must also be given to the artwork. The guy who made the artwork, he's a genius. That one. So somebody's like, all credit should be given to the guy who made the artwork. He's a genius.
That's a very positive.
Right underneath, somebody's like, nyimbo ndimene koma artwork ndemo apara.
Nyimbo ayimvera magayo?
Nyimbo sana imvera. Nyimbo ndimene koma artwork ndemo apara. The song is not even but you see there's that dichotomy in like my statement to you. But and it will always be there. Palibe china chili chonse anthu amadana olo ndi Yesu. Anthu amadana ni Muhammad. You know what I mean? Like anything will have an opposing view.
Jina anamupa Yesu.
Anamupa. Umutenga nayo. Myers.
I can twist that balaba and wakupa guys. Balaba. So
but those comments, what I can say is that they're important because every time you see a negative comment or something that can distract you or detract you, it's a measure. It weighs you. Mukubangadiza bobo. Nekati ubangadiza bobo mudu mumaziwa. umaziva ndesunga makhale doubtful koma munthu akanena kuti wapala ndoti doubtful kuvaya ku studio kucha ukasintha anthu sanamvere nyimbo koma kuopa kale ndezimakhala kuti maybe you're not sure pa chinthu chomwe kutani.
I think that is skilled umaziva ma dreams anthu ambiri umaziva ma comment opoita because like kumabe ndikuti how do you expect kuti umaziva ndikuti nyimbo imene unatulusa previously umaziva nyimbo yabwino anthu anayikonda muno bwino anthu nyimbo ije ndere mina sanayimvere kapena mwina angoyimvera kumene they will be like asi nyimbo yabo because I don't think ndiri nyimbo zambiri umakhala kuti ukazimvera kawiri ndimene nyimbo ine mambambo
kukoma facts
so imakhala kuti mina ena amakhala kuti mina angofuna kukupanga frustrate ena mwina amakhala kuti they haven't really listened to the song kapena mina sanayimvere mokwanira. Anyway, I would like to take you back because we had Trappy and the Sizo here on the previous episode.
I saw that.
And they talked good Makali Mozi ku Habu, the tribe Habu.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah. First we were in Mulunguzi and then we moved to Matawale and then we moved to Odnais.
To Magaya, I mean, you guys, you once stay together, what the hub was all about. Can you like almost describe how it was like?
The hub was like a very creative spot, man. Like
it was a crazy idea. That was a genius idea.
I think I can say it was community, and it's also like about like taking a chance. Magaya kutenga naji nyamata nukuno like tingopanga china chake. So Bouncy, Wiko, Clovix, I think they were like the first inceptors of the idea. Anna Caravan said, guys, come my film, guys, sitting currently Malawian. If I'm remembering correctly, but Wiko had come through another makati titengani ma artist akuzomba awira dadu katika imbe nyimbo janchana na mirana chaks tibase plan. So I think after that initial meeting yori magari na chinachira tinapanga nyimbo, there was like a lot of us. Mwana napo magari 7 in Hobu, Trabe, Kaguru Gantu. And then after doing that, Banazabela idea makati la kandi space inage izizi man zikozoma tega. And I think Bounce at that time also he was like I need to find busy but deni bokhala ndeka, but everybody was like anditeni tisonkirane dola waji nyamara tibese chiteni china tibese chiteni china yake basi tikhalenga kuti tizipase like a spot where we can like always be in the same space basi kubanga create. So it was just a bunch of us with like different skills. Bounce can do video, he's an actor. Unali drew, so amapanga video, he also raps. Basi unali kolo aina Hope Sizo recording, Ayimbi obviously, amapanga mix and master, he makes beats as well, he writes, full package, Trappy same thing, DJ Smindrozi, basi na gurujama. So you'd wake up in the morning and basi mukupanga nyimbo.
Wow. Man, creativity was in the air, man.
Yeah, almost. Even nyimbo zomwe zinapangidwa kumene ngoku zambiri sisina drop koma I can tell you kuti
zambiri sisina drop
zambiri pali nyimbo
mpanga brand names as drop.
I don't I think like zomwe zindune nari tinakumana soma artist story, like we take art more like chintu choti umapanga basi. So some of these things they've never had pressure kuti nyimbo hii kwena kutuluka guys like ndindarama, you know what I mean? I know a lot of people feel like that about like art and like music, you know. I'm a kadi say nyimbo hii uchuga nyimbo hii diblo, you know, but it doesn't really work like that, you know. So a lot of the music we make mina basi mafira board mene yoyo basi ndinapanga record nyimbo ija basi magoma basi we left it there. And we've made like more music even ababa, even though I'm recording this album, I have like my project mina atatu mu PC basi namaliza. But like makadi it doesn't translate. I can't drop album here ababa, it doesn't translate to what's happening.
So umazo andiri mene muna career limozi that time umazo ukandi umazo my friends one kuti now also they are creative each and every morning mukuzuga mukhala limozi. And most of those guys are made muna khala limozi in time chayo ndekuti panopa you went on umazo ndekuti like it's either ndekuti as individuals kupanga sound muna ajina Clovix Bounce you Trappy Sizo zimezo zinakupanga ni modi bwanji kuti what you are right now. Mulothokoza jani that moment you decided to stay together?
Like I think everything that happens in life is like a direct consequence of the things that have happened before. So it would be crazy for me to not acknowledge Kudi that was directly even responsible. Ninginjelwanga napanga record ku Tribe Hub.
Serious?
Yeah.
Okay.
Ninginjelwanga was out for like a year, I think, before like Antosana is here. Like it was out for like a while. It was out for a long time.
Most people don't know that.
Yeah. Because there's sometimes I'll meet somebody who knows me because of they haven't heard Ninginjelwanga, and I'll be shocked. Once in a while, they'll be like, I say Mawanga Ijandabo, and then but she's like, why in Baina? And I'm like, what? It's like, Mawanga Ijandabo, and I'm like, what? Yeah. So that time that we spent Kuhab, like so many good things came from that, Basi, even from a point of Kungobanga get back into music. I think that's the same time also my guy use my district but Spotify, understanding like that there's njirano zomaiga nyimbo zako pamalo pena pake and anthu akhoza kumazipanga access kumazimvera. All of those realizations we're having them kumene gogo ngati gulu lama artists, that's very invaluable kuti ukamapanga discover zinthu pale anthu you can discuss zinthu zimene guys Spotify chanchani kana kwena ukamazanena kuti uziwa kuti makuti ndemukhale magayi mwina 8-9 oti mumazitsata zinthu zanu makhaladi pamalo paja and you're doing that like every day and
from someone wina China. It reminds me of back in the days of Greek civilization. Alisapereke yake ndekuti mukhakuti sikumene wamva zinthu
9 uzikazikanizira
mukhakuti it shaped you kukhala what you are today
100%.
pretty much.
Panova, like I think we were doing a show in Lilongwe. One of the shows that Kai Creates does, but like different types of shows, different types of events. So we were doing something called the Afrobeat and Hip Hop Hangout. And it was Ine, Vitu, and DJ Smindlos. And then there was like a certain point, somebody just came to us. It's like, you guys, you look so calm. And we're like, what do you mean? It's like, you don't even look like you're organizing this event. You just look like exhausted. And we're like, we've just been through like many times, and like the Tribe is one of the places where like mavuto ose amenunga kumane nao kupanga show tinakumana nao 6-7, you know what I mean? Not just like once. We weren't giving up. We weren't giving up. So like we were continuously doing it. Tipanga show tukumana ni mavuto ABCD chane sitipanga ndalama. Tipanga show tipanga mavuto, and throughout the shows were at least tumapanga be visionary for show madani imateka. So like by not giving up, you learn like a certain resilience that's just important for success. And the Tribe is also very important for me in that regards.
So Magailio is going to you have Muninda approach how you take your music, as you have said, you don't have the pressure almost to release the song. We can make money out of this. So you take music as part of your lives. It's an everyday life. And my events. I see you do a lot of events in Mzuzu. Like you incorporating my poets and Chani and coffee, whatever. Which Ningini hapo Ningini ndio so bringing together my creative so siana. Plan yake gani how do you want to change the landscape of sound in Malawi? Because mukuzwa kale kumaya kuno it's like sell it be show it basically post. I think it's not even just in our hands. I just me and like a lot of people maybe like around me and like the people that were doing this into the music, we just believe kuti Malawi ifika kumene goko. It's not kuti we're like ndife ameneti itenge Malawi kugenda. We just know that we're going there. I think the trends are even clear to see bekuti even our consumption of nyimbo za kunja zokazo menuna panopa kale edi mwina like nthawi ya makolo panali ka beef kena kake ni nyimbo za kunja zina zake but then now people consume nyimbo za kunja kwambiri. So like even the listener is looking for something within Malawi that resembles something that is at an international standard. But antutayamba kuloyera kumene go. So it's, I think, task of people who are like being visionaries mu njira ina yake
to wait kuti zinthu zichazirani zifike pa level iliyo imeneyo. In the meantime you do right by art, timapanga mashow timakhala basi guys ntchito yathu ndimene tipange show basi tipanga umundu mpaka umundu kuti mpaka na show ichaitani iteke, and within that pamakhala growth, and like pamakhala people are now accepting a certain type of show. People are now like izizi zimachitika. I'll give an example ngati soiree. Have you ever heard of the soiree? Those Sunday soiree. There's this event, a lifestyle event. You should check them out even.
It's happening in Malawi?
Yeah, it's been happening in Malawi.
Check it out.
Like they did, I think 2 or 3 in Lilongwe. They're doing one in Blantyre. I think this is probably 2 years of them doing this. If they're told people before, this is what we're trying to do, and how everybody would have told them this is take.
Okay.
But in time, I think the first ticket was like 15 pin, if not 20 pin. I'm sure people would have been like, and probably show 15 pin on up. But they did it, and Tanadibira and Tanabita. Kenago, Nasanduga, and then that was like, I think, by the third one where people had, as many as go bit and told him, yo, Sana see, and I go, Pitis out and Kubang. Now, it's no longer that. Now it's just like, hey man, show you my funiga obezege. Because they're doing it. They're just still doing it.
Consistency.
But it's just like consistency. So if you're a chira ifendimene maga antu amene timanena kuti timakonda art. But antu they come to art to benefit from art, and it's like when you are losing art like that, it's like a bait. But so makhala kuituma ngati unena kuti nyimbo iyi blower indi pasama show ichimozi kugabanga bait pa bedroom. 2 hands in the 3 meter. Because you don't know. Absolutely nobody knows good nyimbo bro. Like and if you want to ensure good nyimbo bro, you're going to have to do with a lot of money. Good easy take.
We don't really have a formula. Only kuti tiimbe nyimbo iyi zanga zotere yotere yobwera mo kuti zimveka chonchi mo kuti kunena kuti mina tikona kuti ndimene ngachita bwino. You just need to stay true to your artistry, right?
Exactly.
Because in the even when you're doing Ninginjelwanga, I think you never thought kuti ingakale kuti ndi nyimbo yona kuti ntaina yake anthu kuzayikonda.
No.
Because anthu ndekuti anthu amaisisa kuti nyimbo izimveka za Malawi kwambiri. Kuti tione kuti mina anthu angayikonde. Because sometimes you can be surprised to zapeza kuti nyimbo ichi anthu akuyikonda. So zikuoneka kuti Malawi amafuna zinthu zabwino, zankha kuti zabwino zimakhazi kulibeko. No one is providing
something else that people can latch on to, where they can be like, okay, this is like musical. I think when it comes to Mzuzu is a mainstream Mzuzu, we can say good somebody who's attempting kuda bangizimene zozo ndi munthu oti mwina kufuna alowe mu mainstream, right? I'll give you an example by the artist John Bellion. If you go kuma numbers at John Bellion apa Spotify, ndichintutozizimusa ma numbers like you find 1 billion, 700 million. John Bellion, you get what I mean? It doesn't seem like he's an artist who's reaching a lot of people.
No. But Johnny Bellion per radio,
even
per TV,
you will not see it. Guys, what do you guys think? Why is that? And the answer was good. Antwama Vera John Bellion Paoka. And that's the type of artist that guy is. I can't really imagine good but spin a bag of guys, study anti breast commanding Karabandi and Nigama Ganizas into Zinazag. Nima Vera John Bellion. I understand exactly what his music is for. So when you make music, you have to make music that's true to you, because there are people who are going to relate to that. And and there's never been a time when we are more connected to Antwambirimbiri, or with a chance to connect in the Antwambirimbiri. For no platform ngati Spotify yo, TikTok, amachita kufuna kuti uike content icha, and amachita kukuthandiza kuti content icha izikapeza anthu oti amakonda content yako. You get like they use all of these metrics kuti anthu amene amapanga like uchenya mwachangu, and you can create people that like your own stuff on. So there's no need to play to a particular crowd, because obezeka ulungu nyasisa nyimbo zako zote zinazabuna
and actually not staying true to yourself.
And there's no good thing that really comes from not staying true to yourself.
And then ingine yake imene kuti so you've never had any pressure almost on kuti andimbe zoti andasangalasa anthu mamotere mukapena ande kuti and hakuti ndikuimba motero and this you don't have that pressure. You're just doing it yourself.
I don't have active pressure. I'm aware of good people can think this, but then whenever I'm faced with any thoughts like that, my answer is Makaramene. Because as a human being, Umakabe and my doubt, but you have to have settings in I go down my goose out. Yeah, and zintu antokamena jonchi usaiwale jagu. Woman now is easy past my mental barrier in I, because that's what life is about. It's like there's no way you can just block out bad things, or you can just say, I know man, ni mango enda to man, cinema zikaikira. No way. Komandika zikaikira, ni maziluza. Easy guy to bread. Osama zikaikira.
You should be aware of what is going around you. Yeah. So, talking of Ninginjelwanga.
Yeah.
I don't know the title.
Yeah.
And how many I should ask for them.
Ninginjelwanga means I will not worry.
What language is that?
That's Tumbuka. Chitumbuka Jamagoro. Of course, I've seen some discussions in Amanena. So I can't really fight. It means I will not worry.
I will not worry.
Yeah.
Like almost like even in the baby.
And those are things that I realized after a long time. After I guess Nimbo because a vega dinga wakuti wanga. You know what I mean? But it's a song about my best friend, and that's the handle that she uses on social media.
Okay.
Yeah, and then the zina rodi ndizinzori mastene yake amagonda kunena mazwa mastene rodi amagonda kunena mama mazwa Ninginjelwanga and that's why she used the genre. So she used the word. So I used to think it was her middle name. Fakalikale tili ku college kabisa middle name yake. Yeah, then nikaona ngada amabisa chifuka ndizina lina yake lofuta kunena. And when I was making the song at first, instead of using her name, I was like, let me use this because I thought it was her name.
Okay.
No, I thought it was really good. This is like the middle name. Then later on, that's when I found out she was telling me, dude, that's not my name. You keep telling people that's my name.
So, yeah, almost under cinema from the first process. What happened? Asking for a friend.
We were at the hub. I think it was a late night. I was timafuna ndizivanga tima visualize atina rage roti mwina pakuchitika staff mwina pakuenda kagalimo. So I was just like on YouTube looking for visuals. And then one of the aesthetic videos, because I was looking for aesthetic videos, and then one of the videos had sample Ninginjelwanga. And I was like, wow, that sounds really nice. I was just like, let me just take this sample, then and then I'll touch it up later. But so I extracted the sample, but then I left it like that. And then Hope came the next day, and I was like, I say, and then I started recording it with Trappy.
Okay.
I think I started recording it with Trappy, and we recorded the hook. So the hook was like a freestyle, so it was just like tingo yimba. So he was playing, the song was playing, and then I was just singing it, and then I was like, hey, this is the one. And then like we recorded. So we recorded that. The next day Trappy came out, I got my piano tinatake, and then Hope finished the rest of the beat. Now like he built the whole beat up. As like I said, mafuna pena like it's a current vibe chachi anati. So I played him when anati off the Yeza album, and then Basi just went to work. He just started like putting my shaker jata. It was very simple, but like in Panaitima, when you hear what I put up, and then when you hear it, they're very important things. All of those things, the basic doom. Basically, my car so going throughout the song, all of that stuff, and I can do hope.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it has a very catchy first line. It hooks you up like what's the life without friends? So yeah, almost that was dope.
That's also is. There was elements of John Bellion in that, because like verse also, it was like, what am I gonna say in this verse? It was like, what am I gonna say in this verse? And a lot of the music when I'm making music, beat imangolira. So the beat will just be playing, and something will come. Something will come. So like, it was just like, what's a life without friends? And then we picked it up from there. Like, it's an answer. It's a life full of enemies. But I see, and then Queen Agon is just like now talking about your friend.
Nyimbo jama zikunda kwambiri almost on the my percentage. I think it my percentage and 60% that I can my baby. Why is that?
That's actually funny to hear, because
I don't know if you have checked their analytics to see could my fans are in that. I think your fan base I'm being a baby.
I think my baby was some engaged enough, because even Trappy was posting. He was like, a lot of my fans are male, and then also when I checked my analytics, like at least 60% of my fans are male. So I was like, all right. So if on the ground it looks that way, then maybe it's because they're not engaging online.
Crazy. Okay. Yeah, Commander, is when I got nyimbo zako zambisi zimakamera zachikondi,
Yeah, I am.
Of course, uzindiuza zikavuta. I think it would nyimbo meja ndimene mwina no inakamba ko mwina yukambaza like kuti mwina, because it's like nyimbo na kuti someone in his room, like in a small room, like you mentioned by the dimensions, so
3x3.
Yeah, 3x3. Man, how do you come up with that? Who can put that in a song? You know, I say crazy, very creative. Okay, so Kambo, the nyimbo really is talking about life. Tango ruza about how do you come up with that one?
With Uzinduuza?
Yeah, you did it with a choir, right?
Yeah.
I love it.
Uzinduuza also has like an interesting. So Uzinduuza, I have a friend of mine, Jake. Yeah, so Jake and Ayimbi, Ayimbi and Mloti clan. Yeah. So I was going through TikTok one day, and then Jake had posted the reference. Yeah, Uzinduuza. Good year, I'm Ayimbi nyimbo mene. And I was like, hey, yo, take that down real quick. You know, it was a guy. And I was like, then I went to his inbox. I was like, I said, nyimbo yo banj. There's like, I was still in studio. And I was like, nyimbo yo dindiapo. Like, that's a really catchy like hook that you're doing. Like, so I remember Uzinduuza zikafuta, uzindifotogozera zikashupa. So like, then I was like, okay, basi, then let's just like work on it. So basi, he sent me the beat. The beat was like, I think we got it was like a YouTube beat. So he sent me the beat, then we sent it to Jason Das, Lumbani Moyo. Lumbani like deconstructed the beat, and then like he made a whole different beat for it. So based off of Ngadi my vocals, Amaika Jekyo. Then after they made the beat, then I had to now start writing like the song, you know. So like I wrote the verse, we did the hook, wrote the second verse. Then it was like, there's something missing. Yeah. So that's when the choir came in. Yeah.
So you had the whole choir in the studio.
Yeah. And so those guys are good. When I tell you those guys are good, man, I say, I don't even know, man. I hope to.
This album.
I hope to. In this album, they're already in the album in the form of Uzinduuza. But like, I hope to do like another. There was a certain song that I was like thinking about that I hope to do with them. Man, those guys are like really, really, really talented. They came up with that very shortly. I think within like a 2-hour period. Like we just like, they came to the studio. They were listening to the song. I thought they were just going to listen and then go home, and then I come back. Then they were like, okay, tingo vaya banja. Bas anava banja baja bas. Anamenyaga training I just send uwe and usay gajonchi. I was like, no way. I literally told them, I was like, hey, bro, like I am legitimately impressed.
Yes. Oh, that was very impressive.
Yeah. So that was a song where somebody like they helped me write the song. It was one of the songs that I was like, let me try to work with other people. Let me see like what type of sound I can also like create.
So I've just noticed kuti up north kuli artist anyato kwambiri. Kuona ndi magaona kuti mina antambisa madziwa, because ndiri mina panopa antamangozo mina magulaji na pop yangi.
Yeah.
Nandani koma almost watching some of your interactions with magaya naga mina like almost ina Ayimba ina magaya other creatives. Kona kuti kuli fans yambiri one kuti antambisa madziwa.
100%. Mzuzu has like a lot of good music. Mzuzu has a lot of diverse music. Like Mzuzu, my artist Ayimbi, I mean, not to say Kudi, and just to clarify, that's not to say Kudi, there's not artists like that in Zomba, Blanta, and Dinok. But in Mzuzu, those artists are the ones being given a chance. You get what I mean? Yeah. Like, sound, Yosiana, Mzuzu and Aguyilora. Agufuna Zimene Zozo, it's very nice to see even. Like, and I think it gives Mzuzu an advantage in terms of like the future of music. You know, personally, I can tell you that I think the future of Malawian music is in Mzuzu, because Mzuzu is willing to adapt to like if you listen to Mecha's album, it should just be doing better. But from my perspective, even though he's got like 1 million streams plus, yeah, that's a lot of streams, but like I'm not like hearing people just saying, oh, this is an amazing album, which it is. That's what people should be saying. So, but the people in the north, we know that's an album, it's playing. You know what I mean? So like, I think the reason why you're seeing a lot of cool artists or Janchani coming from Mzuzu is because the people in Mzuzu are willing to embrace sound. You mean?
Yeah, sound like Makabe, Yosiana, everybody got very unique. Yeah, they don't sound like almost I mean, and who I think Makabe would have been a bag. I'm from Mabirana, Zinazagi, what's trending. Yeah, Komagogo people they stay true to their own sound. What do you think?
Yeah, no, but people. I'd say because it may be like there's been like. Basi Mzuzu has been ignored, you know what I mean? Then basi ntakama banga ni ignore mando mutipanga zatu. Yeah, basi zatu zamba gudan. Zamba gutega. I can just speak of artist after artist. Mecha, we can talk about Wona Chandi, Jamie Set, Shano Indexy. Basi with my artist story, they're just willing to try something different. They're aiming for international sound while still trying to use Chichewa, Tumbuka, my languages
So talking of streams, Ninginjelwanga has close to like 900 something, close to 1 million now. Right?
Oh damn!
Sure. It's 800 something, close to 1 million.
Oh, okay.
And you said in the day Natuluga, and Hanazamba a year later, many Mango imagine you're like many my banga produce. You never thought you could a figure back and you never thought you could the reception again a crayon. Now we don't know fans we wonder almost like fans, yes, I know this song and you were born. How did that make you feel?
It's a good feeling.
Yeah,
it's a good feeling. Good, like people like what you do. I think as an artist, that's what you want. And it's definitely different when it's like on a national level. Like on a national level, it's like crazy. Like you have like your aunts and like your cousins. Like people are just like, "Yeah, bro, this is dope. Like we're proud of you." Like so, it's a good feeling overall. I can definitely attest to that.
Okay. Wow. Yeah. So in this album, Ayimbi Volume 1. Yeah. Almost what should people expect? Was on the because people are expecting almost you know.
I can say that the sound is good, you know what I mean? This tape has really been about working with people. You know, my dream in music, like I was saying, like I want it to be more than just like my music. I want to write for people. Yeah. So like Ayimbi Volume 1 is like a showcase of like the production side of me, like that side of me, not just like making my beats, like curating a musical project. I also want it to be something where like I'm introducing artists to like maybe my fans, artists who haven't heard my artist Enake, so like just showing people, hey guys, this is my artist Enake, Sojan Ali, because like in the whole tape I'm working with like a lot of artists. There's a lot of features in the tape. It's going to be a mixture. It's going to be a mixture of things in the Ayimbi I think you can expect a lot of Afro pop, you can expect a lot of pop, and there's even a little bit of hip hop in there.
So so when is this coming out?
Ayimbi will be with you very shortly. No, but like Ababa Tamaliza, Mafusambili ndida alimanja mwa trigger.
Trigger beats in the menu is mixing.
Ababa, so it's pretty much I'm working on it with Tricky. We're also doing it with Chemo as well as Jamas.
Yeah. Okay.
And Jason Dusty also as well. So 4 producers.
Mashow ndero amenyabe mashow ojuluga in the past. In the past it was like last year or mashow ambili, this year so mashow ambili. And you're always wearing I think you have your own trademark.
Yeah.
Something like reflector ngatulu magana gani makumana makonsa miseu. That guy you know when you mulaja television in
Sitawanda wewe.
Yeah. What's up?
With that one, even and I missed the DJ Smindus. So when we were doing that time when he was working at Vogue, when we were doing anything to do with like Twnda entertainment, munga makaya menete makaya to kugobo to mavala my reflector. You know, it's like we were saying good music for us is like ndijintujo ma chichita and chicho. Yeah, never kaya baba makaya about follow my reflector. We're going to build a bangaruzi gist to do. Okay. And in fact I was considering I was almost going to wait when I was coming here. Most likely this might be the last time people are seeing me in normal clothing.
So
yeah, however, my reflector, in fact, we're working with a bunch of designers in Osobana.
That's pretty good.
So what we've done with Ayimbi, I think actually I should talk just a little bit more about Ayimbi. I want to set like a standard for a mainstream act, you know, my big act. I think when they're doing albums or when we are doing albums or however you want to phrase it, I think it's important for, if I just backtrack a little, what from the benefits that I have seen from like the music industry based off of this 15 minutes of fame, I think it's integral for the music industry, for people who are in places of opportunity to empower other artists. It's integral for the industry to grow. There's a lot of money to be made. There's a lot of money, you know, talking about millions of US dollars. Like artists are making millions of US dollars. Basi, like if people artists now who have opportunity are reaching out to other artists and empowering them, I think we can change Malawi in different ways. Creativity ndichintu chomwe chingatipase ndalama my US dollars but chintu anthu sizingamvesese. You get what I mean? It can come from what we could say proverbially nothing. It can come from a bedroom and somebody can be making $10,000 US dollars, $1,000 US dollars, and did my funny target. But as in any industry, as in life, and how many ari pamwamba amainera be apeleke opportunity. I'm not saying give handouts. No. But open a studio and find talented kids, help them with an album, ABC. So when we were doing Ayimbi, that was one of the approaches that I was trying to have, is to bring a large amount of artists into the project. So we have involved at least my videographer kaya 5 stavangazi zosiyana ni ma videographer mene. We have involved kaya ma photographer awiri. We have involved ngati mene tunenera kuti anthu aku mix a follow. Then we have people who have produced also on the album. Alipo mwina ma guy 6 then we have writers kuti mina ma writer 4 kuti they can have credit kuti amwina huku hit na lemba ndife. The whole idea is to like try to showcase that you can do a project with 50 people in music. You know, there's that much art in Malawi. It's not kuti zinthu zizikusowa anthu alipo ma artists alipo. So that's what like Ayimbi is really also trying to achieve, is to show good, look at all these people who are able to contribute to this thing. So we also had even my designers. We also have 3 designers who are creating apparel based off of Zentiment. Is also Ayimbi who are fresh out of the bed. We just so all of that will come together with the album.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think that's the problem with us, and that we don't collaborate enough. chinthu ndi anthu ena so no kungopanga weka koma when you bring in more ideas, more people, man, you can go far together.
Yeah. Even the way the album is sounding, I can just tell you really like if I played you where it stops with just my input in there, but like pakamabwera magita oti mwina waika A B maringa, pakamabwera mapiano oti waika ino, but it builds up into a musical thing. Chintu china like
rich.
Yeah, it's very rich. Even I think that's actually one of the things that Lankes was saying. I was like, I say, nyimbo is easy. Zikuveka so dzadza bo. And like kudzadza bo kuja sungapange weka. Unless wina uri ka ndani ka goma. Ndizovuta
because ndiri zimafuta maganizo anthu osiyana siyana. And input ya magawa osiyana siyana.
And you know that is what I feel like is the only way as even as Malawi we can do something that's great and can compete on an international stage. You need people. When you're talking to people like Trige, when you're talking to people like Kimo, Rameka kama kamba za mixer. Umajidona you know, like parallel chanchani mixing at the frequencies of Maguti. Like you can tell I say this guy akuziziwa is easy. He's not just like trying to be cool. You know, this guy wants goodies into his career. That's standard yabo.
So almost I think that's the problem with the industry ya Malawi, you know, right? Because in the anyamukayeka ava kwa producer mozeka and they expecting kuti abwere ndingini yokonda anthu ambiri
and good even iso kuti growth ikhala
you cannot go that far.
You can start with one producer and you can grow with the same producer. I say uyu nda maziwa ameneti mawekera magaya na wili nutabwera na baba so tikuwenjezeleni nzeru zanu so zitana zibwera baba. I think a lot of people think about it from a terms of betrayal kabena yanchan. It's not good to stop working with the producers because I hope it's even like I've mentioned Kimo, I've mentioned Jason Das. Those are people I've been working with for years, you know, and they're still there. And they will provide a lot of input even though there's other producers also who have been brought onto the table. So it's I don't know what it is. I think sometimes it's comfort in repetition. Kuti basi anima panga record wako kuti nimaimba mabeat mwakuti but then if a true artist, what I can always challenge you is that you want to try to do better. Bas umafuna upange izinto zabo.
So I can say you're a visionary because in the like imene ndamvera nyimbo zako like back in 2020 the music was light years ahead. Oti panopa ina kuta akuzimfira panopa mwina amaona be kuti ndi nyimbo zona kuti zoti kumai kuno kwambiri mina sana anasanambi kuziganiza tangayimbe kapena mwa kuti and almost the way you're talking about how you guys you're putting this album together almost working in there one day how do you visualize the music industry maybe in Malawi 5 years or 10 years from now? How do you visualize it and how do you like want it to be?
So like 5 years from now, the way that I've seen, I feel that Malawi would have gotten to Menegurirugu America, which in terms of how they structure the musical industry, which is something I don't want. I don't want that to happen at all. The way it's structured, Kunja, is that artists, music is controlled by labels.
Yes.
Yeah. So labels have like a lot of autonomy to just say nyimbo zake zifike kwa anthu zisafike kwa anthu, but they can just toy with an artist in whatever way that they really want to do because they own a lot of the power. And I've already seen that already happening in this country. In here, labels, you can just substitute labels with managers. I think managers are playing the role of like, I'll just be honest, I think these are things that people talk about. I'm not saying every manager is like that, obviously.
Yeah, let's make sure.
And oimba kumara kunoka alipo ka ambiri amina ndima manager. Other people's managers are great, other people's managers are not so great. But that's the role of a label is always being played by a manager. Amakhala kubanga distribution, amakhala kupeleka promotion, amakhala kubanga zinto kati zimene zonso. So in situations like that, the person wants to recoup the money that they've put in. Some people are honest enough to just recoup the money that they've put in. Ndukumaja kandarama kawo pambali. Other people are like, ndarama zizilipo. Yeah, odibuna ningumaliza. But that was the only way galigani. But now we finally have a way with the man. You can just put something on TikTok. Zizienda. Uyamba ka TikTok channel kako gaja. Kaya 4-5 years after like ulimbikirao, you have 10-20,000 subscribers. Sometimes you don't even have to get that long, you know. Sure. You are monetizing your TikTok. You are monetizing your YouTube. Go Spotify kwako kucha. I can just tell you good if you say ulindima streams 500 to 600,000 in your Spotify, you can have at least $2,000. Right? That's a lot of money. 600,000 streams ukaganizira nyimbo emozi, maybe that's very difficult. But if you're releasing and nyimbo zukulandi like 5,000, 10,000, mwakudu umumu, ukachitenga ngati ntchito, you can make your own money from that.
Yeah, you can be that's a living.
You can earn a living. So all of these places like Facebook, you look at people like Tamia Ja, they're talking about, guys, I'm making money. I'm not the richest person in Malawi, but I'm making enough money where I can use this to like do other things. So if that label mentality enters Malawi, Zikanga, we've missed a chance where a lot of power could have been with the artists, but then we've just like willingly handed it to people because they're giving you money to make your career a little bit easier. And that's a thing, like, work hard, bro, you know what I mean? Like sometimes people want like the easy way and they're not even reading the contract. Sometimes people are like shocked, Ninginjelwanga, and it's like, bro, you signed something. What were you thinking, you know? So all of those things have to be like considered. Managers can help. Managers are good. Labels are also, we are seeing a lot of good labels. And I think you asked, Kuri, what are some of the things that we're trying to do? If also we're trying to create a sustainable label as well. Like we'll try to create a template for a sustainable label. To say, okay, label also mwina isamaike zintu zambili. You know, man. Amango basically label kungo becha ba artists kungo becha zindama zodabwisa. Let's work with artists that maybe are passionate. Then let's provide them maybe like with free studio time, chanchani, basugumauza, how things are going, maybe free artworks here and there, and just give a foundation for artists. But if labels do that in Malawi, I think that would be better, and you can recoup in the future. And artist one will blow up.
I think you want to kuli vuto limene la manager kwambiri. I don't know kuti magaya kuti amayuza njira pesa manager kwa mostly ndiri ntazambira amayuza anthu ena kuti they should like support them financially mwina kuyambirira kwa career yawe and zimazapezeka kuti zavutabe nthawi ina yake taonapo ndiri mozwa artist ambiri opeze kuti mwina akudandaula kuti manager wawo anapange anajera ndalama zina ndi zina. Do you have a manager?
Yes, I have a manager.
Okay.
So far I was about to even say kuti again there's a confusion. I have a manager. Okay. Other people don't have a manager. They have a promoter. There's a huge difference. We just call it one thing.
Manager.
A manager manages your affairs, but they can be your mom. They can be somebody who's a professional manager. You know what I mean? Basically, and this CV, good amateur project management, amateur kupanga ka source funds, and it's because like artists are not thinking about them art like that, bro. Like they're not thinking, hey man, I need to get good people on my stuff. You know, like I need to get. So for me, my manager, she's been managing for, I think, this is the second month.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's everything.
What's her name?
I should ask her if she wants to be known first. I'll be putting people in the firing line.
Almost, you can call her right now. Anyway, I think even though we're going to that will help you, right? Because she will take you places,
we can, and that's also something that I'm cautious against. We are supposed to go places, you know. She's not supposed to take me anywhere. I'm not supposed to take her anywhere. It's because when you look at Twnda now, and especially in this meantime, I think you've been seeing Mabanga releasing you can't also just like do things without knowing what's coming in the future. So one of the core things has been like creating a team and making sure people who already do things are recognized and we recognize okay Mutuya Mabanga is easy. Yeah, you know, like okay, like DJ Smindlos handles logistics basi. We have Ngadmene manager, then we have other people, so like people like Nta who are handling Zintungati distribution. We have cousin to social media. You have to create a team. It has to be more than about you. Yes. Because if it's just a Siningate, the level that like is required, because now I'm really trying to like make it a professional thing. I just want to illustrate that music can be professional, and that's how it's going to be in all ways that we're doing music. So one of the things is setting up a team and like a good one as well.
Okay. Massive. Man, I should appreciate you for coming to the podcast. We have been honored. Since you've been away from this town, like almost have been in Mzuzu, I'll be like, you know, and I should thank you so much for coming.
No, thank you for having me.
Maybe there are some other things that you must do. Yeah.
I think this is always hard. I think what I should actually do one day is like write it down. Because that's a difference. This is kind of to go.
Me too. I'm having problems in the even the introduction. I should be writing this one because I don't know. Maybe it was a I'm a hip hop guy. You know, I can't confidence. No, I can.
Let me freestyle.
I can freestyle this straight from the dome. I was talking to this other guy. I was like, you just need to like. There was because
preparation is key.
Preparation is key.
Preparation is key. You know, like I don't play around with preparation, bro. I'm telling you, bro. Like, and I think that's something that like even people that I've worked with will like be like, this guy I was a bow up in a bag. Like maybe it's probably somewhere with guys. You need to practice it. Like I need this to be legit. You know what I mean? And I'm not understanding what's going on. Like and a lot of things like I was like new to a lot of like especially let's say at live performances. Like working with a whole band. That's not something I've been doing. You know what I mean? So it was like guys, Nimbo, you can figure joint. Someone go play. You know, I'm gonna go play. I need this. I need to practice. How much? I'm like, bro, I can practice for 3 weeks straight. You know what I mean?
Practice makes perfect.
Yeah. So it's preparation is key. Preparation is key, definitely. And I think that's even something that one of the things I can tell the people. The greatest people to do anything. They prepare more than anybody else. Ronaldo could train
prepare more than necessary. Flawless.
Muscle memory. Ronaldo, I think if you hear Ronaldo is the first guy in training, that's guy out of training throughout his career. And another surprising one would be Messi. You know, people think Messi, I don't go bad to join to the match. That's also another person who almost all the people that he's worked with, I said this guy, he trains hard. He trains hard, and you're like, mess with you're like, okay, I guess he did a trainer at that time. And so it's everybody.
So I think that's the problem here, because in the real that's when you become complacent. Also make up also effort.
You're going off of
who is putting work now is getting ahead of you. Which is crazy.
Yeah, it's very crazy. Very crazy. The cycle, it's actually, that's the cycle even of Zintungadizmeni Mzuzu. Umayamba kuta when you get complacent.
You take almost your fans for granted. Which almost I like the way you're approaching things. Almost like about this Ayimbi volume 1. But almost how you're working, and you're saying that you're in Mangochi.
Yeah, we were in Mangochi, Monkey.
Recording it.
Yeah, we were finalizing. So we've been recording.
So how many districts so far have you traveled to record?
This month, and then we can say we started in Mzuzu, Lilongwe, Branta, Zomba.
Wow, guys, you should expect fire. You should expect fire. Wow. Okay. Yeah.
So I hope everybody loves it.
Yeah, sure. So, can you drop your socials handles? People, they should follow you.
They should follow me.
Insta.
So on TikTok, TWANDA.
Twnda, that's Twnda.
MW.
So who is Swish?
So Swish is basically just before before, so many when we were like with Tribe Habu, but we can get to Spotify. So I was like, okay, you know what? Now that this exists, let me go for this. Let me like be making music and releasing regularly. So when I was uploading, I switched. I just had a second thought. I was like, I just want to be who I am. You know what I mean? I just want to be who I am. But this is just going to be me music. And then we got Twnda, but now Twnda guy live Spotify.
Okay. Yeah. So I don't know what you're saying. Okay, you can proceed. So it's Twnda
on IG. So that's Twnda MW on IG, on Facebook, as well as on TikTok. And if you want to find me on Twitter, that's Audio Rock Swisher.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Bless it, man.
It's
man, thank you so much. And almost one day, I hope you guys have liked this episode. And almost hit us, comment, put some comments. Almost tell us how you feel about this. Almost follow this guy. Almost look out for the new album coming up. Twnda. Sure.
Big up.
Thank you, man.
Bless it.
Bless it. Yeah.